Ethan wiped the sweat from his brow with the back of his hand, leaving a smudge of grease across his forehead. It was another slow afternoon at Rusty's Auto Repair, his small garage tucked away on the edge of Pine Valley. He had just finished changing the oil on an old pickup when he heard a soft, scraping sound from outside. He glanced up and saw a young boy, maybe 8 or 9, struggling with a battered wheelchair. One of the front wheels was completely twisted, forcing the boy to inch it forward awkwardly. His mother stood beside him, clearly exhausted, her worried eyes darting between her son and the broken chair. Without thinking, Ethan tossed his rag onto the workbench and stepped outside. He knelt down to the boy's level, offering a warm, reassuring smile. "Hey there, little man," he said gently. "Looks like you've got a bit of trouble with that wheel, huh?" The boy nodded, wiping away the tears that streaked his cheeks. "It broke while I was trying to go down the sidewalk," he sniffled. "Now I can't go anywhere." Ethan glanced up at the mother, who looked away quickly, as if embarrassed. I don't have any money right now," she said quietly, almost apologetically. Ethan shook his head. "Don't worry about that," he said. "Let me take a look." "No charge." Her eyes widened, and for a moment she just stared at him. Then she nodded, the relief visible in her posture. "Thank you," she whispered. Ethan carefully lifted the wheelchair and carried it into his garage. The front wheel assembly was mangled, the frame misaligned, and the right brake barely hanging on. It wasn't going to be an easy fix. He sighed and looked back at the boy, who was sitting on a stool, watching him with wide, hopeful eyes. Ethan's garage wasn't exactly thriving. Work had been slow, and overdue bills were stacked on his desk. But none of that seemed important now. He rummaged through a scrap pile and found an old mountain bike frame. It was sturdy aluminum, perfect for fabricating a replacement. With determination, Ethan set to work. He cut, welded, and shaped the parts late into the evening, glancing occasionally at the boy and his mother as they waited patiently. "This isn't just about fixing a wheelchair," Ethan murmured to himself as he tightened the last bolt. "It's about giving him his freedom back." By the time he was done, the chair didn't just look repaired. It looked brand new. He had reinforced the frame, replaced both front wheels with heavy-duty casters, and adjusted the seat for better comfort. The brakes worked flawlessly now. "All right, buddy," Ethan said, rolling the chair toward him. "Give it a try." The boy hesitated, then gripped the wheels and pushed himself forward. The chair glided smoothly across the pavement. His face lit up in pure joy. "It's better than before," he exclaimed, spinning in circles with ease. The mother's eyes filled with tears. She grasped Ethan's hand tightly. "You have no idea what this means to us." Ethan smiled faintly. "It's what I do. I fix things." They left shortly after, the boy waving excitedly as his mother guided him home. Ethan exhaled slowly, his body aching but his heart full. It had cost him a whole day's work, but something told him it had been worth it. He had no idea how right he was. 2 days later, Ethan was closing up the shop for the night when a strange noise filled the air. It was a deep, throaty roar, definitely not a crop duster, and nothing like the occasional medevac chopper that passed over town. He stepped outside, shading his eyes from the setting sun. A private jet was descending toward the tiny airstrip on the outskirts of Pine Valley. Ethan blinked, watching as the jet's wheels kissed the ground, sending a cloud of dust into the orange sky. No one around here had that kind of money. Most folks drove pickups and worked double shifts just to pay rent. As he stood there, stunned, a sleek black SUV sped toward the airstrip. Its tinted windows gave away nothing. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest. Something about this felt monumental. The jet door opened. A sharply dressed man stepped out first, his suit tailored to perfection, his expression unreadable. Then another figure appeared, older, with silver hair, a commanding presence, and eyes that seemed to miss nothing. Ethan turned to go back inside when he realized the older man was looking directly at him. He froze as the younger one gestured, and the SUV started toward his garage. Within minutes, the vehicle rolled to a smooth stop right in front of him. The man in the suit stepped out, adjusting his cufflinks before extending a hand. "Ethan Walker?" "Yeah," Ethan replied cautiously. I am not Ancole. I represent Mr. Harrison Blackwell. He nodded toward the older man, who was stepping out of the vehicle with a grace that didn't match his years. Mr. Blackwell would like a word. Ethan glanced around, half expecting a camera crew to pop out. But there was nothing, just the two men and their quiet, almost eerie professionalism. Sure, he said, wiping his hands on his overalls. Harrison Blackwell approached, his gaze unwavering. 2 days ago, you fixed a wheelchair for a young boy. You refused payment and worked into the night to make it perfect. Ethan nodded slowly. Yeah, his name's Caleb. Good kid. Blackwell smiled faintly. Caleb is my grandson. The pieces clicked into place, leaving Ethan speechless. My daughter told me everything, Blackwell continued. How you used your own materials, your own time. You didn't just repair the chair. You made it better. Ethan shifted uncomfortably. He needed it. I couldn't just let him sit there. You restored his independence, Blackwell said. And I don't believe in letting good deeds go unnoticed. Nathan opened his briefcase and handed Ethan a sleek black envelope. This is for you. Ethan stared at it, his fingers trembling slightly as he opened it. Inside was a single page, its crisp paper practically glowing under the fluorescent lights of his garage. It was a job offer, a contract. The salary figure at the bottom made Ethan's knees wobble. You want to hire me? He managed to croak. Not just hire you, Blackwell said smoothly. I want you to run one of my research and development facilities. We design cutting-edge mobility devices, wheelchairs, prosthetics, exoskeletons. You have the skills. More importantly, you have the heart. Ethan's throat went dry. He glanced around his dingy garage, the peeling paint, the oil-stained floor. Why me? Because you didn't do it for money, Blackwell said. You did it because it was the right thing to do. That's rare. The weight of the offer settled on Ethan's shoulders. He was just a mechanic. He fixed engines and patched up old bikes. Could he really step into something this big? Take your time, Blackwell said, but not too long. Opportunities like this don't wait. They left as quietly as they arrived, leaving Ethan holding an envelope that could change his life forever. That night, Ethan barely slept. He sat at his workbench, staring at the contract. It promised him more than he ever dreamed of: resources, cutting-edge tools, a chance to truly make a difference. But it also meant leaving behind everything he knew. The next afternoon, as he tightened the bolts on a tractor engine, he heard the soft hum of a familiar electric motor. Caleb rolled up in his wheelchair, his mother, Lauren, walking beside him. It's perfect, Caleb grinned. Better than anything I've ever had. Ethan smiled, kneeling down to check the wheels. Glad to hear it, buddy. Lauren stepped closer, her voice low. I heard about the offer. Ethan sighed. Small town. You should take it, she said. You can help kids like Caleb all over the world. Ethan looked at Caleb, who was watching him with trust and admiration. Could he really walk away from this life? Or was he being called to something greater? If you go, Caleb said quietly, will you still fix my chair if I need it? Ethan felt a lump in his throat. Always, kiddo. Caleb smiled. Then I think you should go. Days passed before Nathan returned. This time, he drove Ethan out to the facility, an enormous complex humming with activity. Engineers tested wheelchairs that could climb stairs, prosthetics controlled by thought, and devices that gave people mobility they never thought possible. This is where you belong, Nathan said. People who care about changing lives. Ethan's hands trembled as he picked up a prototype. He could see it, his future here, helping thousands of people, not just the few who rolled into his shop. He took a deep breath. I'm in. Nathan smiled. Welcome to the team. Weeks flew by. Ethan found himself immersed in work that challenged and fulfilled him in ways he never imagined. His hands, once covered in grease, now assembled machines that gave people hope. And then, one morning, Caleb and Lauren visited the facility. Caleb had a brand new wheelchair, sleek, fast, intuitive. He grinned at Ethan. I can go anywhere now. Lauren handed Ethan a letter. Inside, Caleb had written in careful block letters. Thank you for fixing my old chair, and for believing in me. You didn't just fix something. You changed my life." Ethan's hand shook as he read it. He knelt beside Caleb, his voice thick with emotion. "You changed mine, buddy." And for the first time in a long while, Ethan Walker knew he was exactly where he was meant to be.